Everybody, welcome back to the Center Lane, the political discussion for those of us in the middle who just want our politicians to get some kind of consensus and get some kind of compromise and get something done. Not too far to the right, not too far to the left. Just bring it right down the middle. Wouldn't the world be a better place then, huh? We dare to dream. Anyways, what's coming up? Well, 90 days and it's election day, so that's kind of big. That's some news. Actually, let's talk about it really. It's 60 days because that's when early voting, at least around here, starts. And I take advantage of that. I mean, so I think a lot of people do as well. So these guys really only have 60 days to get their message across, whatever that message is. Now that's where I have a little bit of a question mark. What exactly is the message from either one of these parties, these two candidates? Well, we'll call it three candidates because there is Robert Kennedy Jr., but I think after he dumped that bear off in the middle of Central Park 10 years ago, the dead bear, if you haven't heard that story, you got to Google it. It's like, what? What do you mean you dumped a dead bear off in the middle of Central Park? Anyways, it's crazy, and I think he's pretty much done. He's down in the single digits, below 5%, I think, at this point. So let's call it two parties at this time. He made a little noise, but that noise has been quieted for things like that. And the worm eating his brain. Anyways, back to our two main parties. What exactly is the message from each one of these parties? I mean, I haven't heard a whole lot. I know that they both don't like each other. They tell you that if the other one gets in power, the world's going to come to an end. What are they going to do? So let's start with the Republicans. I mean, I know Trump says that it's going to be a dystopian, World War III, scorched earth policy, that everything's going to go to hell. But that doesn't tell me what's going on. He was on a podcast. This kid, he's a very popular YouTuber, or I don't know if it's TikTok or YouTube. Got like millions of followers. And so he agreed to do a live stream interview with the kid, and the kid's like, well, what's going to happen? What's going on? And here's Trump in his typical fashion, lots of headlines, very little detail. Oh, it's going to be great. You're going to make so much money. Everybody's going to do so great. We're going to fix everything. Well, what do you mean? Well, it's going to be fantastic. You won't believe it. It's like some people say it's never been done before. It's like, you're not saying nothing, man. What exactly are you going to do to make all these things happen? The stock market crashed. You called it Kamala's stock market crash. When the stock market was good a couple weeks ago, you called it was a bump because people thought you were going to be president. So you can't have it both ways, man. You got to give us some more details. Like, you're short, you're great with the headlines, but you're terrible with the details, man. You just don't have them. You don't give them. I mean, that's he's a carnival barker. But anyways, J.D. Vance is trying to be a little more substantive, actually. I mean, but still, he's just attack dog mode, which VP candidates usually are. I mean, I give him credit, not credit, but I recognize what that is, and I recognize that Harris is, Tim Walz will do the same. We'll get to him in a minute. But, yeah, J.D. Vance, like today he was questioning Tim Walz's military record and this and that. And, Walz was in for 24 years. Vance was in for 4. Hey, they both served, and it really should be something that the two of them shouldn't be picking on each other about. Veterans don't pick on other veterans, generally speaking. That's a little bit of and not only that, the elephant in the room is Donald Trump got 6 exemptions for bone spurs during the Vietnam War, so he didn't get drafted. You really want to go there? I don't think it's a good topic. I would pick another topic. I think what both sides are doing, and it's kind of immature, but they're calling each other names. They're making these accusations of these are terrible people, et cetera, and I don't think that, that's okay coming out of the gate, but you only got 60 days to make your case. Start making your case, man. What is it you're going to do differently? What's going to change? How's it going to make my life better? How's it going to make my family's life better? My kids, grandkids. How's that? What do you got? What do you got for us? And I haven't heard either party, in fairness, say anything of substance. Not yet, anyways. I'm hoping that they do have these debates. I think it'll at least give you an opportunity to know which each party has planned. But listen, I'm a news hound, and I'm just not seeing anything out there. Nothing concrete. So picked on the Republicans a little bit. Let's go to the Democrats now. Kamala Harris, I got her name right finally. Picked Tim Walz, and you know what? I've seen him on before on bits and pieces as a commentator and stuff. He's a folksy guy. He's got a good personality, I would say. He does have that kind of salt of the earth personality, which is probably a plus for him. But it's going to be, is he going to expand her base, or get her more voters? I don't know about that, you know. He has some liberal tendencies, but honestly, when you really look at his record and see him, he hunts. He was in the military 24 years, and J.D. Vance was questioning his record, and I think that's a big mistake. Like I said, I would not pick on anybody. Everybody that serves deserves credit. They made sacrifice. And for anybody to, especially another veteran, to come at him like that, and I would hope that, I don't know what Tim Walz is going to say in rebuttal to that, but I hope they keep that civil and recognize that you served your country. That's a plus. You both did. Let's call it even and move on to what I was talking about originally. What the hell is the plan? What's the Democrats' plan to make things better? Oh, we're going to fight for you. Fight for me? How? Where? What are you going to do? What's going to change? I don't think that the stock market thing, like I said, like Trump claims it's good. When it's good, it's because he's going to be president and everybody knows it. Or when it's bad, it's because Kamala, it's her crash. It makes no sense. You're not making any sense, but there's nothing unusual about that between either parties, right? So anyway, so she picked Tim Walz, and I think it's a safe pick, I guess. I'd rather have seen something more out there, more interesting, like Pete Buttigieg. That would have been something like, that would have really, I think it would have caused more interest and grab more headlines. This guy is kind of a steady Eddie. He has a pretty good backstory. I think no harm, no foul as far as that goes. She was going to take Josh Shapiro. I think there was a couple reasons she didn't. I mean, everyone says, well, take that and you can win Pennsylvania, which she needs. But I think there was a couple reasons why she didn't pick him. First off, he's not a backdrop guy. He's a in-your-face, he's how do you want to, I don't want to say, he has I don't want to say it's a domineering personality, but he has, he's 50 years old and he's ambitious, and he may overshadow her or try to. Maybe even he's not even trying to. It might come across that, where Tim Walz is more like he's a team player. I don't know if Josh Shapiro would have been a team player. So I think that was probably the biggest reason why she didn't pick him. I think Josh Shapiro is even having reservations about being on that ticket, because if she doesn't win, which, hey, by the way, just because there's a lot of excitement around her, she ain't guaranteed to win this thing. I call it really is 50-50. Depends which way the wind's blowing, what day it is, who's going to win this thing. So if he was to put his name on a losing brand, that might hurt his brand down the road. Now, one thing I thought was interesting as far as the Democrats go, too, though, a lot of these guys that are ambitious, that want to be president someday, like a Josh Shapiro or was it Moreland, the governor of Maryland, even Amy Klobuchar, which is getting a little too old by the time this thing, all the dust settles, but she's another one. Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, these guys, if she does win, I mean, and she wins, say she wins, and she gets reelected, which incumbents usually, if they're even halfway decent, it's pretty hard to beat them. So let's say she wins them both. That takes us, to 20 to 32. Okay, she has to get out now. Tim Walz would be her VP, and he probably would run. He might be even a little bit favored, although it's hard to say because vice presidents haven't really done all that great after they served. I mean, Biden did win, but he took 4 years off because they wanted Hillary Clinton to run, so they kind of pushed him aside. We already know what happened to, like there's the Dan Quayles of the world that just got completely wiped out. Mike Pence didn't do so great. Al Gore did really good, but he lost by 500 votes in Florida, and that's why he didn't get 8 years, or at least 4 years as president. So, it's funny, we talk about, if you want to talk about there might have been a chance for somebody to do something hinky with election results in the year 2000, because it really did come down to Florida. Neither candidate had enough, Bush and Gore, and it came down to Florida, and if you guys are old enough, we used to have to imprint the ballots. Like you had a pencil and you push a hole through it. So then they go through like a hole punch thing, and that's how they would count the votes. Well, they had to do a recount because it was so close, and that was the 30 whatever electoral votes were going on with Florida were up for grabs. And after they counted them by hand, they had the hanging Chad, they called it, because people were holding them up and seeing, did that hole go all the way through or didn't? And they'd throw some out. It was really controversial. I mean, much more controversial than the last 2020 election that Trump claims he was cheated out of. Listen, man, if anybody had if there wasn't tanks in the street during 2000, we held together as a nation, and Al Gore, you know, gave up the fight, and we went on. 2020 that didn't happen, obviously, and that's just kind of a scary thing to think about if it's a close election again. And nothing for nothing, man, but that's why I won't vote for Trump. It's not because I hate Trump or everything he did. I won't vote for him because on that day, January 6, 2021, he sat on his hands for 3 hours while Rome burned. He didn't get up in front of a camera and say stop. He didn't do nothing, and to me that disqualifies, and that's dereliction of duty. So if he wins in 24, he's my president. I don't want anything, I'll support him as best I can. I mean, when he got shot at, I didn't want him to get killed. When he got COVID, I didn't want him to die. He's my president, but I don't want him to win either. So anyways, let's wrap it up with that. You vote your conscience. That's the biggest. Just make sure you vote. It doesn't matter who you vote for. I mean, it matters, obviously, but in your own heart and your own conscience of who you think is the best person, then you need to go out and vote. So I would encourage you to do that. And we'll leave it at that. Oh, one more thing, just kind of on a funny note. Trump was making fun of Kamala's laugh. And she made a comment back I thought was kind of funny. She goes, I do laugh a lot. And it is, some people say maybe, but it makes me feel good. She goes, but has anybody ever seen Trump actually laugh? Now, he smiles a lot, but I've never seen him laugh. Has anybody seen him laugh? If you got it, shoot up a video. I'd like to see it because I don't think I've seen it. Anyways, have a great day. Hope everything's going good in your world, and we'll talk to you soon.